guess I didn't see. What are you looking so sad about, Jam?
Man, I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bomber Month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cass Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, going to the body. That's right, going to the body. We're going to talk about some body punching today. But Miss Cass, Crush the Legend. Salute, Crush. How are you today? Good to see you. Been missing you in the morning. Crush the Legend comes on 6:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Salute, Crush. Yeah, going to the body today. We're going to talk about some body punches, about 15 body punch finishes. The importance of body punching, all that kind of stuff today, okay? But as promised, in the highlights of the boxing history today, it's the top 10 fighters in boxing today, okay? We're gonna go over the top 10 fighters in the sport right now today as of July 29th, 2025. So let's jump right into it. Top 10 fighters in the sport today. And it's hump day too. But how's the family today? Yep, this is the hump day edition of Cat Sports The Box Story. Okay, let's jump into it. The top 10 fighters in boxing today. Because we went all the way through the weight classes and got the top 10 in each weight class. Now we're going to put them together. Top 10 overall in boxing. All right. As the sport of boxing evolves and new contenders emerge with the quest to become the best boxers in the world. But it's a revolving door as a loss or a change in weight class shakes up the rankings of the pound-for-pound best. Now, while the sport boasts a rich history filled with legendary fighters and seasoned veterans who once dominated the ring, the focus remains on the current crop of top-tier boxers who redefine excellence with their unparalleled skill, unique fighting styles, and impressive winning streaks. These modern-day pugilists inherit the legacy of their predecessors while forging their own path to greatness, captivating fans with their extraordinary talents and unwavering dedication to the sport of boxing. With each passing year and decade, the torch is passed from one generation of boxers and stars to the next generation, as today's champions strive to surpass the feats of those who came before them. All right, here we go. Top 10 boxers, fighters in boxing today. Okay. At number 10 is Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani coming in at number 10. Okay. Now, Nakatani is a Japanese pro boxer and unified bantamweight champion. He's held world titles in 3 weight classes, including the WBA flyweight title from 2020 to 2022 and the WBO junior bantamweight title in 2023. Now, Nakatani's amateur career was also successful as he won notable tournaments like the Asian and World Amateur Boxing Championships. Nakatani's relentless work rate, his relentless work ethic and determination earned him recognition in the boxing community. Currently 31 wins, no losses, 24 knockouts. Just heard this morning, this number 9 is retiring, but I made him number 9 before I found out he was retiring. I guess he's retired, I don't know. But number 9 is Gervonta Tank Davis. Retired tomorrow, Tank. He's number 9 on the pound-for-pound list today. Number 9, Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank has been a human highlight reel throughout his career at the pro level, with his devastating stoppage wins. His speed, power, and mean left hand have flattened top contenders, right? He currently competes in the lightweight division and is the reigning WBA champion. Known for his explosive and accurate punches, he scored knockouts against notable opponents such as Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, Leo Santa Cruz, Hector Garcia, and Frank Martin, among many others. Davis's signature moves are the left hook and uppercut. His fighting style emphasizes timing and precision to maximize impact while minimizing risk. 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 28 knockouts, 93.3% knockout ratio for Gervonta Tank Davis, number 9. Okay. Okay, excuse me. One moment. Then we're going to get started back up. Top 10 pound for pound in the sport right now. The Cat Sports top 10 pound for pound. Okay, let's continue with it. Let's continue with the top 10 pound for pound currently in the sport today, right now. Number 8, Junto Nakatani 10, Tank Davis 9. Number 8 is David Benavidez, the Mexican monster that is, David Benavidez. Number 8. I went backwards on Benavidez. There he is. Throwing a body shot of all things. And that's what today's show is about, isn't that something? David Benavidez. Now, Monstro is a dominant, undefeated light heavyweight champion. Okay. 30 wins. Well, I'll do that at the end. Talk about it first. Now, David Benavidez has risen to become one of boxing's most feared pound-for-pound stars after moving up to light heavyweight. Okay? He overwhelmed David Morrell Jr. in February 2025 to capture the WBA belt, and soon after was elevated to full WBC champion when Dimitri Bivol vacated his title. Known for his relentless pressure, blistering combinations, and composure under fire, Benavidez is now positioned as a leading contender to face Bivol or Beterbiev for undisputed status. His next defense is already set for November 22nd, 2025 against Anthony Yarde in Riyadh season. All right. Number 7 is Slick Shakur Stevenson. Number 7 is Slick Shakur Stevenson. Slick Shakur Stevenson. Oh, Benavidez. Currently, 30 wins, no losses, 24 knockouts, 80% knockout ratio on the button for Benavidez. Okay, Slick Shakur Stevenson is number 7. Stevenson continues to dominate with his superior defense. Now, Shakur Stevenson has swiftly risen to the top of the boxing world, becoming a 3-division world champion with his unmatched defensive capabilities and fight strategy. His ability to read opponents and neutralize their attacks has earned him an undefeated record and recognition as one of the most talented fighters of this generation. Stevenson does not have a confirmed upcoming fight. His most recent fight was on February 22nd, 2000. No. His most recent fight was William Cepeda, where he got a 12-round decision over William Cepeda, right? He outboxed Cepeda in a Floyd Mayweather type performance. Shakur Stevenson, okay, successfully defended his title. Before that was Josh Padley, but number 7 is Shakur Stevenson. Currently, 22 wins, no losses, 15 knockouts. Okay. At number 6 is Artur Beterbiev. Number 6, Artur Beterbiev. This is the top 10 current pound-for-pound fighters. Mike Rim. What's up, Mike Rim? We're going to go back over them at the end. Just mention the name so everybody, we'll see. We're at number 7, Artur Beterbiev, number 7. Beterbiev has spent his pro career in the light heavyweight division. His entire career has been at light heavyweight. Yeah. Now, the punching machine, Artur Beterbiev, is known for his speed and accuracy while delivering hard hands to his opponents. Beterbiev won all his fights by knockout since debuting as a pro in 2019 until his unification fight, his second unification with Dimitri Bivol, right? It was his first time somebody went the distance with him. He was the undisputed light heavyweight champion. He had the IBF, WBO, WBA, and WBC. But he lost he defeated Bivol in October, but lost the second fight. Okay? But the third fight should be coming up. Artur Beterbiev, number 7. And currently, Beterbiev is 21 wins, 1 loss, 20 knockouts. 95.2% knockout ratio. No, Beterbiev was 6. Shakur was 7. Sorry about that. Beterbiev was 6. Okay. At number top 5 pound for pound now. Number 5, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Jesse Bam Rodriguez at number 5. Okay. Jesse Bam. Bam shines with his offensive pressure. Okay. And Jesse Bam Rodriguez is one of the youngest champions in boxing currently, right? And he's already claimed world titles in 2 weight classes, establishing himself as a force to be reckoned with. Known for his relentless aggression and precision, Bam's fearless style inside the ring has garnered widespread acclaim and positioned him as one of the most promising young champions in the sport of boxing. Okay? In 2024, he defeated boxing legend Juan Francisco Estrada to win the WBC and the ring super flyweight titles, right? He defended his belts by defeating Pedro Guerrero to cap off a very successful 2024. And this year he defeated Frumalele Kefu and won the WBO super flyweight title. He just had a fight, and he's about ready back on the schedule for his next fight in November. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, number 5. That's why he's number 5 pound for pound. Currently, 22 wins, no losses, 15 knockouts. Jesse Bam. Number 4, Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol is number 4. The undisputed light heavyweight king, Dimitri Bivol. That's Dimitri Bivol, okay? Well, he vacated, but not, he was undisputed. I think he vacated the WBC. Now, the Russian boxer Dimitri Bivol is a born fighter who stood out at a young age due to his larger size, often besting his peers in competition. Inspired by acting legend Jackie Chan, Bivol credits Chan as a key influence in his journey to becoming a boxer. Wow, Jackie Chan, how did he? Well, he's a martial artist, so yeah. Now, Bivol captured the WBA super light heavyweight title in 2016 in just his 7th pro fight, and successfully defended it 12 times before facing his first career defeat, to Artur Beterbiev, which he avenged in his very next fight. Yeah, 2024, he lost his titles to Artur Beterbiev. In the rematch earlier this year, he delivered a boxing masterclass to avenge his loss to Beterbiev and captured undisputed light heavyweight world title in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And we are actively anticipating the 3rd fight between those 2 gentlemen. Okay? So Bivol currently is 24 wins, 1 loss, 12 knockouts. Okay, top 3. Number 3, Da Master. Naoya Inoue, Da Master. D.A. Master. Naoya Inoue, number 3. Okay? The Master. Okay. Inoue continues to break records. The Japanese-born boxer is known as the Master. Not the Master, the Master. Right? Inoue is one of the most brutal and feared boxers in the world today. He won 22 fights by knockout, making his overall record. Well, currently he's 27. Let me see what the Monster is. That kind of early. Currently 30, with 27 knockouts. Okay. He's the current 4-division unified undisputed super bantamweight champion, right? And a former undisputed bantamweight champion. He defended his undisputed super bantamweight title for the 4th time when he knocked out Ramon Cardenas on May 4th, 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Yep, the monster. Like I said, 30-0, 27 knockouts, 90% knockout ratio on the dot. Okay, now this was hard. Usyk just had a great win, but it had to get the number one to Bud. So Usyk is number two. Number two, Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk, number two. But I ain't mad at you. 1 or 2, Usyk or Bud, either way. Usyk might be number one tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Come on, don't start up for me now. Here we go. Yeah, Usyk, number 2. Bear with me for a moment, please. There we go. Alexander Usyk. I think he's undisputed again, right? Because he got the other belt back from Dubois. So it's only 2 men that's been undisputed and twice in the same weight class in the 4-belt era, Canelo and Usyk. But Alexander Usyk is number 2. Then we're going to start talking about body punching. Body work today. Okay. Bud got number 1 today. Now, the Cat dominated the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. Undisputed in both of them. Only 1 of 5 people to be undisputed in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Only 1 has done it in 3, the globe. Now, whenever there's talk about the greatest Ukrainian boxer of all time, the name of Alexander Usyk will be at the top of the list. He has a pro career record of 24 wins, no losses, 15 knockouts, okay? And currently holds the WBA, IBF, WBO, IBO, and the Ring Heavyweight Championships. And to the WBC. Okay, so he's not undisputed. Usyk is among the few active fighters with multiple championships in 2 weight classes. Previously, he won 4 titles in the cruiserweight division. In 2024, Usyk defeated Tyson Fury twice, solidifying his status as the best heavyweight in the world. In 2025, he just dominated Daniel Dubois to become a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion. So he is undisputed. But they didn't have the WBC up, but I knew he was a 2-time undisputed. They had IBO instead of WBC. Nobody worried about no IBO, right? So he defeated Tyson Fury twice. He just beat Daniel Dubois to become the 2nd man to be undisputed 2 times in the same division after Canelo, right? And he's the first heavyweight boxer to achieve this feat since Muhammad Ali. Ali wasn't in the 4-belt. He was the only other first heavyweight to be undisputed 2 different times, okay? Muhammad Ali. Holyfield won it 4 times, but he wasn't undisputed twice, okay? And number 1 is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, number 1 today. Like I said, tomorrow it might be Usyk. I ain't mad at you either way, Crawford or Usyk. Mike Masick in the building. What's up, Mike Masick? Yeah, Terence Crawford gets number 1. And if he beats Canelo in September, damn, you got to start talking about ATG behind Crawford's name, man. But I don't think he's going to do it. But hey, we'll see. That's the good part about it. We are going to see what happens. Okay? Talk about Bud right quick. Terence Crawford. Massive fight coming up in September. Bud can change his style and stance to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. Okay? Terence Bud Crawford is an American with a career record of 41 wins, no losses, 31 knockouts. The Ring magazine ranked Crawford as the best boxer in the world in August of 2023. Crawford held the WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF junior lightweight championships for his first undisputed, right? And then 2023, he had all 4 titles as a welterweight. He was the first male to division undisputed in the 4-belt era. Okay, the Bolt was the first boxer overall to do it. Bud was the first male. Beat Earl Spence. Okay. And he has a massive fight coming up against Canelo Alvarez on September 13th, 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. This highly anticipated fight will see Crawford moving up 2 weight classes, really 3 because he only had one fight at 154, really coming from 147. But technically 2 because he did have one fight at 54. But he's moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Alvarez undisputed in the super middleweight division, right? Okay, so let's talk about some body punches now. Okay, let's see what I got to do first. Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about the purpose, right? The first thing is going to be what is the point of body punching? Okay, what is the point of body punching? Right? That's a good first question to start out with, ain't it? Get your man up out of there. That's the point of it. I have no idea who these people are, but I'll figure it out. Okay, yeah, I know who they are. Yeah, what is the point of body punching? Okay, let's talk about that. What's the point of body punching? Mike Madden said, that's my guy, Bud. Oh, you picking him in September, Mike? Over Canelo? I got Canelo. But hey, won't be surprised if Bud pulls it off. I just don't think. I just think it's too much. He's not gonna pull a Mel though. Bud gonna go in there and compete. He's not gonna do like Mel first time Canelo catches him good, just pack it in. No, Bud ain't gonna do that. Bud gonna be in there competing for however long it lasts. I think it goes 12. Canelo don't knock nobody out anymore. He'll carry him 12 just like he been doing all the rest of them. But Mike said, yes, sir. He got Bud. Mike Grimm got Canelo by knockout. I got the decision, Mike Grimm. Yeah. Canelo been carrying everybody lately, but maybe he's gonna try to make a statement on this little 147 pounder coming up there and get it. But that's the good thing. We are going to see September 13th. And hey, August begins this weekend, right? So hey, we almost there. But what's the point of body punching? Okay. Now, body punches would target the torso rather than the head serve several strategic purposes in the sport of boxing and martial arts. Energy drain. Body shots can sap an opponent's stamina and energy, right? Striking the ribs and solar plexus can make it harder for your opponent to breathe and maintain their activity level. One big reason for it. Opening up the head, right? Targeting the body can force an opponent to lower their guard, creating openings for headshots. Once they anticipate a body shot, they may neglect their head defense, right? Another one, purpose of body shots. Disruption of rhythm. Body punches can disrupt an opponent's rhythm and timing, making it more difficult for them to execute their own strategies. And this is a big one here. Pain and discomfort, right? Body punches cause pain and discomfort. Well-placed body shots can cause significant pain, leading to a decrease in performance. A fighter may become hesitant or less aggressive after absorbing body shots. And that right body shot on their liver can end the fight, right? Another one, scoring points. Score points with body shots, right? In boxing, body punches count equally with head punches in terms of scoring with the judges. Effective body shots can help a fighter win rounds on the judges' scorecards, yeah. A body shot counts just as much as a head shot does. Setting up combinations. Body shots can be used as part of a combination to create openings for more powerful punches to the head. Overall, body shots are a vital component of a comprehensive striking strategy, allowing fighters to control the pace and flow of the fight while also inflicting damage. At the same time, inflicting damage. Now, what are some common mistakes fighters make when delivering body punches? You know, they get them countered, get them taken up out of there. Some mistakes they make when delivering body punches. Then we're gonna look at some body punchers. Yeah, that's true, Mike Rim. Bud is going to fight. That's what's going to get him knocked out. That's what you're saying, Mike. Yeah. That's what saved Mel. Mel stopped fighting, so Mike said Bud is going to fight. That's going to get him taken out of there. That's a very good point right there. That is a very good point. Mm-hmm. And it very well could lead to him getting stopped. Yeah. Now, when delivering body punches, fighters often make several common mistakes that can reduce the effectiveness or get them counted. Here are some of the few key pitfalls, key mistakes they make. Overcommitting. Now, throwing body punches too hard can lead to loss of balance and exposure to counterattacks. It's important to maintain stability when you're throwing these shots. Or telegraphing. If a fighter signals their intention before throwing a body shot, the opponent can easily evade or defend against it. Keeping movement subtle helps maintain surprise. You know, that's the same thing with a headshot, you know, telegraphing. Poor technique. Guess that would be part of telegraphing, right? Poor technique. Incorrect form, such as throwing punches with an open hand or not using the hips properly, can result in weak punches and increased risk of injury. Neglecting defense. Focusing solely on the body punch can leave fighters vulnerable to head strikes. Always maintain a defensive posture when delivering punches, any kind of punch. Inconsistent targeting. Striking with an unclear aim can lead to ineffective punches. It's crucial to target specific areas like the ribs or solar plexus. Ignoring the follow-up. Now, failing to follow up a body shot with additional punches can waste the opportunity created by the initial shot, right? Combinations are key. Now, not setting up. Body punches should often be set up with feints or headshots to draw the opponent's attention. Rushing in without setup can be ineffective and can be devastating, can get you countered, taken up out of there, right? So you gotta have the setup. By avoiding these mistakes, fighters can improve their effectiveness in delivering body punches and enhance their overall performance. Okay, so let's look at some body punchers now. That's snakes. Some body punchers. Okay. Oh, excuse me for one moment. Better get the old tablet. The old tablet is okay, we go to the gas guzzler now, the tap. Pick it up the wall. Let's go get the gas guzzler, this old tablet. I told you can see this thing moving. The charge go down so fast. I had to leave it on there until I get ready. Okay, we're gonna talk about some body punchers now. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, okay, those what those pictures were. Those were the body punches we're gonna talk about. I didn't know what they were. Yeah. Okay. Bud Crawford, he was the last one on the pound for pound list. Yeah, that's Ricky Hatton. I think he's first. No, that's Manny Pacquiao. That's Mickey Ward. Yeah, Mickey Ward is first. Right, okay, here we go. Yeah, we're going to talk about some body punchers now. Got 20 body punchers, very brief little discussion. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more is in the building. What's up, Bruce Gas? Going to the body today. Let me review the pound for pound list. Let me do that right quick. Number 10 was Santo Nakatani. Number 9 was Gervonta Davis. 8 was David Benavidez. 7 was Shakur Stevenson. 6 was Artur Beterbiev. 5 was Jesse Bam Rodriguez. 4 Dimitri Bivol. 3 Naoya Inoue. 2 Alexander Usyk. 1 Terrence Crawford. And 1 and 2 is just, any given day it could change. Okay, now we're going to talk about some body punches. Let's salute Bruce Gas. Going to the body. Okay, now body punching don't get enough love. Dramatic instances where a paralyzing left hook to the body or to the liver or crushing right to the ribs produces a knockout aside. Much of the time, an effective body attack is overlooked, even by ringside judges sometimes. And yet, there's just few more advantages and advantageous strategies in boxing than sapping an opponent's strength, stamina, and will with an assault to their belly and brisket. Yeah, now most boxers do mix some hard body blows into their arsenal, but then there are the warriors who make body punching an essential part of their ring craft. So let's look at 20 of them. They're just legendary body punches. Very brief little discussion about them. These are 20 legendary body punches. Yeah, Mickey Ward is first. Mickey Ward. Irish Mickey Ward's signature punch was an extremely effective left hook to the liver, a weapon that earned him more than a few clean knockouts. Few boxers have relied so much on that single debilitating weapon than Irish Mickey Ward did. That left hook to the liver. That got him a lot of knockouts too. Okay, next, it's the explosive thin man. We're talking about some legendary body punches now. The explosive thin man. Ken Saw Love 1 in the building. What's up, Ken Saw Love 1? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you back, Ken Saw Love 1. We are talking about some going to the body today, and now we're talking about some legendary body punches. Okay, let's salute Ken Saw Love 1 in the building. All right. Okay, let's get back to it. Waiting for Jarrell Hattie's name to pop up. But he's coming, don't worry. Okay. The explosive thin man, Alexis Arguello. Legendary body puncher, man. The explosive thin man understood well the value of patiently digging hard blows into the midsection of his opponent to wear them down. A body punch wizard, Arguello often makes head and body blows in the same combination. That's what I was just talking about, setting it up. When we were talking about the value of body punching, yeah. That's key. And Alexis Arguello did that a lot. Head and body shots in the same combination. Told you. What's up, Jarrell Hattie? Salute. Yeah. That tank thumbnail got Jarrell and the Ken Saw Love in here. Salute, Jarrell. Good to see you today. Going to the body. We're talking about some legendary body punchers right now. Okay. Next, the toy bulldog, Mickey Walker. That was his nickname, the toy bulldog. Him and Harry Greb had a fight back in the 20s or maybe early 30s, and they really didn't like each other, so they had to fight that day. Then they had the rematch that night in a nightclub. Yeah, they had the rematch later that night when they saw each other at this club. Yeah, they got to throwing hands at the nightclub. They didn't wait long for the rematch. I don't know who won. I think the Toy Bulldog won the fight during the day. And somebody said he sucker punched Harry Greb that night, so he probably won the rematch too. Dog Kent, what's up, Dog Kent? He said, man, he sure didn't like those body punches by Berrios. He sure didn't. Berrios should have said, man, yes. I don't think he was trying to, Dog Kent. It don't seem like Berrios was trying to set him down. Like he had some kind of agreement with somebody. Now, man, he talking about a tank fight. Man, he need to sit down somewhere. That's a show for another day. But salute, Dog Kent. It seemed like Berrios wasn't trying to set him down, though, because I thought he could have. Looked like he had Manny on the ropes a couple times and let him off. If Manny would have got a good shot and on Berrios and got him in trouble, he would have tried to take Berrios' head off his shoulders. But Berrios looked like he had some kind of agreement or something with somebody where, let Manny survive. Right? But salute, Dog Kent. Yeah, the Toy Bulldog, Mickey Walker, is next. Legendary body puncher. Now, an extraordinary brawler and swarmer, the great Toy Bulldog broke down much heavier and bigger opponents with his non-stop body attack. Yeah, Mickey Walker, legendary body puncher. Looks like a bulldog. Look, see? Don't he? Mm-hmm. His nickname fits him. Talking about legendary body punchers, how about Smoking Joe Frazier? Smoking Joe Frazier, ex-Ali. About Smoking Joe, body punching. And Ali couldn't shake Smoking Joe. Smoking Joe was using the excellent footwork, those little small steps. Wherever Ali went in that ring, Smoking Joe was right there in his face. Couldn't shake him. Like I said, you can't talk enough about Joe Frazier's footwork, man. Most underrated footwork in boxing. Smoking Joe Frazier. Okay. Smoking Joe's ferocious body attack started with full attention to the midsection, right? His left hooks to the body softened up his man for the impending assault directed upstairs. That's right. Those left hooks to that body softened him up, and Joe went up the steps then. Smoking Joe Frazier. Okay. We go back a ways again. Billy Patrol. That's Billy on the right. I don't know who that is on the left. Billy Patrol. B3, what's up, B3? Salute. B3 Picks TV. Okay. You get some good information about picks. Put your link in there, B3. That will explain it better than I can. Put your link in there. I'm going to drop the link later, too. But put your link in there, B3 Picks. Salute. Okay, Billy Patrol. Tough and aggressive. They call him the Fargo Express. He was famous for his two-fisted body hammerings, anchored by his potent left hook. Another left hooker. Right behind Smoking Joe, another left hooker. Billy Patrol. From back in the day. 30s, 40s, around that area. Now, this Snakes man, how can you do a list of body men and not have him on it? After all, his name was the Body Snatcher, right? Mike McCallum. Got to have the Body Snatcher on here, or the list definitely ain't complete, right? Making a list of good body punches without the Body Snatcher on it. Wow. Dog Kent says Berrios was holding back to make Manny look good. Yeah, he gave Manny too much respect. But I understand it's a bad grab. Yeah, he made his biggest payday ever. Yeah, he could have made that and still knocked Manny out, right? Because the contract was already signed. The bag was already coming. But yeah, he had the agreement. You'll never get another big payday if you go in there and knock Manny out, Berrios. I heard Manny calling for a tank fight or something. I've read some headlines this morning, but I didn't have time to read it yet. But I saw it like Manny wants a tank fight with a condition. What's the condition? No, ain't no conditions. You get in that ring, ain't no conditions. The condition is to take your head off your shoulders. That's the condition. But Mike McCallum was called the body snatcher, right? And not for nothing did they call this Triple Crown King conqueror of Harold Graham, Donald Curry, and Milt McCoy, and Jeff Hardy. There was a reason they called him the body snatcher. Okay? Self-explanatory. How about we talking about, you can't leave this man off neither. JCC. Julio Cesar Chavez. There he is, going to the body right there. Yeah. Vicious body shot. Now left hook, whew, the guy wouldn't hurt too bad. A left hook would have took Julio right on out of there. But that body shot probably hurt him so bad he wasn't even thinking about a left hook. All he's thinking about is going down on one knee. Julio Cesar Chavez. The sound of JC Superstar landing life-sapping body punches was a familiar one in the 1990s, as Julio's fists buried themselves under the ribs of no fewer than 87 stoppage victims. When talk turns to great body punches, the Lion of Culiacan always comes up. Yeah, JCC, Julio Cesar Chavez. Legendary. Jake LaMotta, another legendary body puncher. Jake LaMotta. Okay. Now, pulling inside in his trademark fashion and taking 5 punches just to get one in, LaMotta constantly worked to get in close and battered the torsos of such greats as Marcel Cerdan, Tommy Bell, Fritzy Zivic, Tommy Yaros, Homer Williams, and the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson. And the French people hate Jake LaMotta because he went over there and beat Marcel Cerdan, the French fighter, one of the greatest French fighters of all time, him and Georges Carpentier. But anyway, they was having a rematch, and on the way to the United States, Marcel Cerdan was in a plane crash and died. So the French people said if Jake hadn't beat him, he wouldn't have been on that plane coming for the rematch. So they blamed Jake for that. That's crazy. But yeah, they hate Jake LaMotta. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next is talking about some great legendary body puncher. Tony Zale, the Man of Steel. That's Tony on the right. The Man of Steel, Tony Zale, doing the body punch. It's not low because the man got his shorts pulled up so far, yeah. Got his shorts pulled up into his chest. Yeah, that's the referee had to tell him that's a good shot there. Yeah. Should have made him pull him down some. You know, the amateurs got that white strip. That's for anything below that strip is low. And they can't have their trunks pulled up. Everybody got to have their trunks at a certain place in the amateurs. And that white belt thing going around their belt line is for, that's the point. That's low or high. The professional rank should have that, man. You know? The referee don't have to say this is low, this is high, the trunks are high. Just below that white strip around their waist is low. So don't go below it. Tony Zale, the Man of Steel, was renowned for his cast-on determination to whack away at his opponent's ribs, methodically punishing and wearing them down with a two-fisted body attack. The Man of Steel, Tony Zale. The Boston Bone Crusher, Sam Langford. Doc Kent says, Manny do need to have a seat or go fight Blair Cobb or something. Or Floyd. Fight Floyd in an exhibition. Manny would probably make more fighting Floyd in an exhibition than he made fighting Barrios for the Real World Championship. I guarantee you he would. What y'all think? He would make more in an exhibition fighting Floyd than he would fighting for the Real World Championship. I don't know why they haven't been done that. Like Floyd said, legalized bank robbery. They would both be laughing all the way to the bank. People would get it just to see Floyd lose. I'm not saying he would lose, but just like when he was actually fighting people, a lot of people bought his fights to see him lose. If he fought Manny in an exhibition, they would buy it just to see him lose. You know, or get beat up or whatever. The same thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what Manny needs to do, fight Floyd. he wanted to be the world champion and all that kind of nonsense. But the Boston Bone Crusher, Sam Langford, the sage whose original utterance, this is the man who first said this, hit the body and the head will die. That was Sam Langford. Spawned many imitators. Now, Langford was a certified expert at blasting opponents with vicious blows downstairs. As heavyweight immortal, Harry Wills once said, "One time Sam hit me in the body, and I looked behind me to see if his hand came out the other side." That's how hard he hit me. The man looked behind him to see if Sam's hand went all the way through his body. That's hard right there. And Sam was a little guy, averaged around 150, 160. The highest he ever weighed was 185 and fought all the way from lightweight to heavyweight. Number 2, Homicide Hank. We're going to talk about him later. We're going to talk about some great swarmers. Because what do all swarmers have in common? All swarmers are great body punchers. Like for example, Henry Armstrong, Joe Frazier, Rocky Marciano, JCC. All swarmers are good body punchers, right? Because you get inside, you try to bring them hands down so you can go to that head. But Homicide Henry Armstrong was all about getting in close, sticking to the opponent like super glue and unloading heavy artillery downstairs. Homicide Hank. I think was very brief. And Bob Fitzsimmons. He was the first 3-weight world champion. So you know he fought back in the day. Back in the day. There's Bob. See that stance? That's a back in the day stance. Okay. Dog Kent says, man, he couldn't do anything with Floyd either. I wouldn't want to see the rerun again. No, I might get it. I don't know. I might not neither. I ain't paying no $100. That should be one of them $25 pay-per-views. Manny and Ford, I might pay that, but I ain't paying no $99.99. No way. But Dog Kent says he wouldn't get it at all. Yeah, I might, but not for no $99. That's one of them $10 pay-per-views right there. Bob Fitzsimmons, okay? Boxing's first Triple Crown champion, first 3-division world champion, specialized in hard energy sapping body blows and is credited with inventing the solar plexus punch. A single left hook to the body from Fitzsimmons won him the heavyweight championship of the world in his historic fight with James J. Corbett in 1897. Yeah, we talked about that one, remember? James J. Corbett, that was a battle. James J. Corbett was like 22 rounds, and James J. Corbett won 21 of them. But Fitzsimmons knocked him out in the 22nd round. Yep, James J. Corbett won 21 out of the 22 rounds, but he got knocked out in the 22nd. Yep. Got a couple more, then we're going to talk about some. I think we're going to talk about some swarmers next. Okay, Ricky Hatton. Oh, Ricky, what we do Mickey Woods next? Put the picture up there, okay? I believe it's Ricky Hatton. Yeah, Ricky Hatton. There he is. The other hitman. He said Thomas Hearns was his idol. Now, Ricky Hatton used his upstairs attacks to dispatch with former world level operator Freddie Pendleton in 2001 and Joe Hutchison the following year, effectively ending decent opposition with one blow. Hatton made headlines with one of his signature body shots against Jose Luis Castillo. HBO announcer Jim Lantley noted it as the perfect liver shot. You remember that one when he beat Castillo, that liver shot? Early 2000s? Yeah. Hatton, that was a devastating shot. Eusebio Pedraza is next. Yeah, he was a good body puncher. Eusebio. That's Eusebio on the left. Look like that. Yeah, he's trying to throw a body punch. It looked like it might have got blocked. Let me find Eusebio Pedraza. There's Eusebio. Now, Pedraza was a long-time world champion in the featherweight division because of his body punching. Sometimes he went a little low. Yeah, sometimes Eusebio went a little low. But He was a relentless body puncher, okay? And they went a little low sometimes, but hey, it might not have been on purpose. Might have been a mistake. He just made a lot of mistakes and hit people low a lot. But he was a good body puncher too. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Now, most people were first exposed to Triple G's body shots in his first fight with Grzegorz Proksa. Each knockdown was initiated by one or more body shots delivered by Triple G. Triple G's body attack is noteworthy for being so dynamic. He often changed angles, speeds, and targets mid-punch. Okay? Triple G. Okay, a couple more. Ida Joffre was a good body puncher, Argentinian fighter. Yeah, we talked about Ida last week. This week's country tomorrow is going to be Australia. We're doing a different country each week, alphabetical order. Like the boxing in the States, tomorrow is Australia. Home of George Kambosos, the twins, Andrew and what's the twin? Anybody know the twins' last name? From Australia, I can't think of it right offhand. One of them name is Andrew. But Ida Joffre. Joffre was a great fighter that on several occasions turned fights in his favor because of his ability to body punch. Ida Joffre. Okay. Can't leave this man off. Marco Antonio Barrera. You talking about body punching? And that's him and the Prince. He just destroyed. The Prince retired after that fight. Remember? Okay. Dark Kent says, did I touch on B-Hop's body and liver shots to De La Hoya when they fought? That's coming. Yeah, I think I got B-Hop and Oscar in here. Yeah. We're gonna get to that. I talked about it before too, though. But yeah, I talked about them. That was knockout of the year, wasn't it, Dog Kent? When he got Oscar there with that body shot, I believe it was. Yeah. But after this fight with Marco Antonio Barrera, the Prince retired. Remember? Yeah, that was we got a beating. Now Barrera was a highly skilled ring technician, but his greatest trait was his willingness to go to his opponent's body. Barrera was an all-time great fighter, and a lot of that was because of his willingness to go to the body effectively. Marco Antonio Barrera makes the hands of stone. Talking about body punch. The hands of stone. Legendary. Many people categorize Roberto Duran as a brawler, but he was a masterful counterpuncher and could attack the body with the best of them. That's one fighter that fit like the four categories. What are they? Boxer, puncher, outboxer, brawler, and what's the other one? Boxer, puncher, outboxer. Boxer, outboxer, brawler, pressure fighter. Duran fits in all of them. He fits all categories. Every fighter falls into one of them. Some more than one. Duran fits in all of them. Boxer, outboxer, brawler, pressure fighter. And that's it. Okay, yeah. So now, yeah, we're gonna talk about some swarmers now. Okay, some swarmers. Now, yeah, that's something about B-Hop and Oscar. Yeah, I was looking at that. Yeah, because I'm gonna put this back on here because I'm gonna need this later. Tablet. Give me for one moment. Yeah. I put that gas guzzler, that tablet back on the charger because I'm gonna need that again. And then if I'm not using it, it'll be on zero by the time I get to like 3:15. It's 3:02. It'll be on zero. That fast. I'm serious. That thing is crazy. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some swarmers now. Who is the greatest infighter of all time? Okay, we're gonna talk about some infighters now. Swarmer, infighter, brawler. I think that's a brawler too. Right. That's a pressure fighter too, I guess. What is that fourth category? But Maloney, that's the brothers I was looking for. Maloney, Andrew and somebody Maloney from Australia. We're gonna cover them tomorrow when we talk about Australia. But we're gonna talk about some swarmers. Okay, who was the greatest swarmer of all time? I think we're gonna talk about it. This always happens. Okay, what did I do? Who is the? Oh no, that's not right. Who was the greatest infighter of all time? Got a few of them that we're going to talk about now. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Is that loud? I don't know. The music comes up by itself. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's talk about these infighters now. We got a couple of them. 4 of them we're going to cover. You're right, Maloney, B3, right. What's up, Tim Layton in the building? What's up, Tim? Yeah, Maloney, B3. Andrew and, oh man, I can't think of the other one's name now. Is it Mark? No, it starts with an M, right? Andrew and something. Andrew is at 115, I believe, and the other one is at 118. Yeah, I think they both lost their belts too. They both had belts, but I think they both lost them. We're gonna cover them tomorrow. Jason, thank you, B3. Andrew and Jason Maloney. Yeah, Australia is our country. That's what made me bring them up. We're going to cover Australia tomorrow. But now we're going to talk about some swarmers. Because what do all swarmers have in common? They are great body punchers, okay? You cannot find a swarmer that's not a good body puncher. Now, Henry Armstrong is the greatest infighter of the golden oldies. Modern boxers, it's a little tougher to choose between the 4 from the modern era, which are Joe Frazier, Rocky Marciano, Julio Cesar Chavez, Aaron Pryor, okay? But from the old days, it's Henry Armstrong. Now let's talk about Homicide Hank first, and then go to the modern greats. Now Henry Armstrong, also known as Homicide Hank, right? Born on December 12, 1912, fought under the name of Homicide Hank, that was his ring name. Due to his relentless, vicious style, writers in the 30s began calling him Homicide Hank, right? The writers gave him that name because of his style, relentless. He was Aaron Pryor before Aaron Pryor, okay? If you saw Aaron Pryor fight, you've seen Henry Armstrong fight, okay? Same style. I could not imagine them two being in their prime fighting each other. That would be crazy. Wow. Probably turn into a real street fight. But yeah, if you see Aaron Pryor fight in the modern age, then you've seen Henry Armstrong fight. Same thing. Just come out there, non-stop punching for 15 rounds. Great gas tank, right? Now, Armstrong was one of the few fighters to win undisputed titles in 3 or more divisions: featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. And this was where there were only 8 divisions, compared to 17 today, and only 8 undisputed champions back then, compared to hundreds today, right? Seriously, hundreds, with the interims and the supers and all that kind of stuff. But back then, only 8, right? Now this says, if you count interim and regular titles, plus the super titles, there are 265 titles available to fighters today. That's ridiculous. 265. That is totally ridiculous, man. Damn. But anyway, Henry Armstrong held almost half the total titles as undisputed champion at the same time. And he almost did win the 4th title at middleweight, right? He had beaten the middleweight champion, Seferino Garcia, in a previous fight. but he had a draw with him. The fight he beat him in wasn't for the title. Then when they had the title fight, they called it a draw, but it looked like, I seen both of them. He beat him again, but they called it a draw. So Garcia kept his title, right? Almost everybody at ringside said Homicide Hank won the fight. Now, he defended his welterweight title. He was already featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight at that time. He defended his welterweight title a total of 19 times, okay? Now, the Ring magazine named Henry Armstrong Fighter of the Year in 1937, and the Boxing Writers Association of America named him Fighter of the Year in 1940. In 2007, the Ring magazine ranked Henry Armstrong as the second greatest fighter of the last 80 years. Longtime boxing historian and writer Bert Sugar ranked Armstrong as the second greatest fighter of all time, and ESPN ranked him as number 3 on their list of the 50 greatest boxers of all time, right? Now, he was a classic swarmer before the name swarmer was even invented, right? He was a swarmer before the name was even invented. Now, Armstrong hurled himself at his opponent, right? Hitting them anywhere he could land. Like I said, Aaron Pryor. Seen Aaron Pryor, you've seen Henry Armstrong. He would hurl himself at his opponents and hit him anywhere where he could land at, right? And Armstrong was not above a few rabbit punches either. Low blows and anything else he could do to hurt his opponent, right? Boxing historian Tracy Callis said Armstrong was a relentless, aggressive, attacking fighter. Armstrong had several nicknames: Perpetual Motion, Homicide Hank, the Human Buzzsaw, and Hurricane Hank, Hurricane Henry. He had power in both hands. He had a solid chin, applied constant and unrelenting pressure, and had incredible stamina. Now, who did that sound like from the modern era? You could have been describing Aaron Pryor. I might not even do Aaron Pryor because we're really talking about both of them doing Armstrong, so I might just go right past him. Because didn't I just describe Aaron Pryor? Listen, he had power in both hands, a solid chin, applied constant pressure, constant and unrelenting pressure, incredible stamina, right? But this is Henry Armstrong we're talking about. It could have been Aaron Pryor, okay? From 1937 to late 1940, Armstrong only lost one fight. That was to Lou Ambers for the lightweight title. His record, compiled against truly first-rate competition during this time, between 1937 and 40, 3-year stretch now, he had 62 fights in those 3 years. That's 20 fights a year. He won 59, lost 1, had 1 draw, 51 knockouts. Between 1937 and 1938, he had 27 straight knockout wins, okay, in a 1-year stretch. Like Mike Tyson and Joe Frazier after him, Armstrong used the bob and weave and made his offense an integral part of his defense. Known for his windmill ferocity, the truth is, Henry Armstrong was like Aaron Pryor, a far better boxer than he led on to being, right? Because of all that motion and pressure. Him and Aaron Pryor were far better boxers, but they would just attack so much with their swarming style. People really didn't realize how good boxers they were. And like most swarmers, Henry Armstrong had a relatively short prime. The cost of his non-stop ferocity wore him out. Yeah, all swarmers have short careers too, most of them. Like Joe Frazier, Rocky. Joe Frazier only had 37 fights, right? Now, Armstrong ended his career with a record of 152 wins, 22 losses, 9 draws. But it was still short because he was fighting 20, 30 times in a year, okay? 20, 30 times in 1 year, this man was fighting, okay? He went 27-0 in 1 year. The 27 knockout streak was over 37 and 38, lasted about a year, okay? So you say 100-something fights, that wasn't short, but he was fighting 20, 30 times a year, okay? Now, interestingly, Like his fellow swarmers, Rocky Marciano and Joe Frazier, Henry retired at the relatively young age of 32. So he did all these 100 and some fights before he was 32 years old. He suffered from alcoholism in retirement, but managed to overcome it and become an ordained Baptist minister in 1951. He died nearly broke at the age of 75 on October 25th, 1988 in Los Angeles, California. Now, for those who say Armstrong lacked power, he had 101 knockouts, and 67% of his victories came by way of knockout. How can you say somebody with 100 knockouts didn't have power? What Roger Mayweather said, right? Anybody that said somebody 100 knockouts didn't have power? What Roger Mayweather said. Now, he won 27 fights in a row by knockout. For those who say he lacked speed, the great Barney Ross said Henry Armstrong was the fastest fighter he had ever seen. How great was Henry Armstrong? He retired all-time great Barney Ross after they fought. Barney Ross was the number 5 welterweight of all time. Who would say of Henry Armstrong? On the night Henry won the welterweight title from me, he was as great a fighter at that weight as ever lived. I stayed in the hospital a week and never fought again after that. Okay? Now, modern infighters, the big four, and why Mike Tyson and Holyfield are not included. Okay? Why they are not included. There are generally 4 great infighters, or as Cus D'Amato named them, swarmers, in modern boxing history. Aaron Pryor, Julio Cesar Chavez, Rocky Marciano, and Joe Frazier. Now, Mike Tyson is not included because he was not a true infighter. Mike was a mid-range boxer puncher of extraordinary speed and power. Unlike an infighter, a swarmer as it were, Mike did not, as Jerry Corey memorably said of Joe Louis, attach himself to your side and beat the hell out of you. That's what a swarmer did. A swarmer was, you would think he was glued to you. Mike did not fight like that, okay? Mike fought at mid-range. Mike didn't get close and attach himself to you, he just didn't, right? Holyfield is not included either. Holyfield wasn't a swarmer. Holyfield just started brawling when he got hit real hard, okay? He threw the game plan out the window. Now, Holyfield could certainly fight inside. He also could box, stick and move. His fight with George Foreman was a perfect example. Now, the 4 fighters listed here all were swarmers. They lived and died with infighting. Now, let's talk to the Chavez first. Aaron Pryor was first, but we just talked about Henry Armstrong, and we might as well have been talking about Aaron Pryor. Okay, so we're gonna go to Julio Cesar Chavez. Okay, JCC next. I can't even find the cursor. Oh my goodness, what did I do? There he is, JCC. Okay, we talking about some great infighters now. Because like I said, what do all infighters and swarmers have in common? Infighters / swarmers have in common? They are great body punchers, all of them. Primary swarmer is not a great body puncher. I don't think anybody can do it. I certainly couldn't. Now, Julio Cesar Chavez, JCC superstar, right? El Cesar de Boxeo, the Seesaw boxing. Julio Cesar Chavez, also known as Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., was a Mexican professional boxer who competed from 1980 to 2005, 25-year career. A multiple-time world champion in 3 weight classes. Chavez was listed by the Ring magazine as the world's best boxer, pound for pound, from 1990 to 1993. During his career, he held the WBC super featherweight title from 1984 to 1987, the WBA and WBC lightweight title between 1987 and 1989. And he had the IBF junior welterweight title from 1990 to 1991. Also had the Ring Magazine and lineal lightweight title from 1988 to 1989, and the lineal junior welterweight title twice between 1990 and 1996. Okay, Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, Chavez was named Fighter of the Year for 1987 and 1990 by the Boxers Writers Association of America and Ring Magazine. Now, he holds the record for the most total successful defenses of a world title, which is 27, a record he shares with Omar Narvaez. Most title fight wins and fighters beaten for the title at 31, and most title fights at 37. He has the second most title defenses won by knockout, 21, after Joe Louis with 23. However, it must be noted that Lewis's title defenses were all of the undisputed championship. Chavez's were not. Okay, gotta note that Louis all were undisputed. Now, Chavez had an 87 fight winning streak to begin his career until his draw with Colonel Whitaker in 1993. Chavez's win over Greg Hargan in 1993 set the record for the largest attendance ever for a boxing match, 132,274. That's for the modern era, because I think, no, that might be the record. That might be the record. Because it used to be Jack Dempsey and George S. Carpenter in 1921, but I think that is it. Chavez and Hargan, 132,000. Now he had a merciless, non-stop attack with his body punching. Like Aaron Pryor, Chavez's style was non-stop punching, forward movement, and aggression. Chavez also, in many ways, resembled another reincarnation of Homicide Hank, right? Armstrong. But he fouled less than Armstrong. But Chavez didn't mind a foul or two every now and then, okay? But not as much as Homicide Hank. But he wasn't above getting one in there lower behind the head if the referee wasn't looking. Don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna hold you. He wasn't above that, okay? And like Armstrong and Pryor, Chavez would pound your entire body every second of every minute of every round. He was a merciless body puncher, blessed with good hand speed, great technical proficiency, good power, and a chin made out of iron. That's another thing pressure fighters have in common: good body punching and great chin, okay? Now he retired with 107 victories, 6 losses, 2 draws, 86 knockouts, 74% knockout ratio. That's incredible. 170 wins, over 70 knockout ratio. That is incredible. Okay, let's talk about another great swarmer, The Rock, Rocky Marciano. Okay, Rocky Marciano, another great swarmer. The Rock. The Rocky only had, 6 title defenses, but he's the only heavyweight champion in history to have made every single defense against the highest ranked contender. That's significant. You know how nowadays, like Teofimo fights the number 15th ranked contender, like these champions do nowadays. Rocky Marciano, every title defense was against the highest ranked contender in the division at that time he fought him. Okay? The only one ever to do that. He only had 6, but all 6 of them was against the highest ranked potential heavyweight at the time. Okay? Rocky Marciano. Of his 6 title defenses, 5 of them were against the number 1 contender, and the 6th was against the number 2 contender, who had just beaten the number 1 contender. Okay? That's why I say the highest ranked contender, although he was number 2, because he had just beat the number 1 contender, right? So to me, he's the higher ranked. He beat number 1, So hey, so every fighter he fought was the highest available number one contender, highest ranked contender at that time. Although this guy was number 2, he beat number 1. Okay, so he's higher ranked to me. No other champion in history made every single defense against the top contender. None. Rocky wanted to retire on top. He did not want to wait too long, as so many fighters did. Rocky knew his style did not warrant a long shelf life. He cleaned the division out, beat all the ranked contenders, and did not wait for someone to come down the road. He retired. Also called him the Hammer. Rocky Marciano was a relentless, highly conditioned, extremely powerful fighter who depended on an iron chin. His conditioning to keep from firing, iron chin and his conditioning to keep him firing away as well in the 15th round as he was in the first round. That's the highest compliment most of his opponents paid to him is he came just as hard and hit just as hard in the 15th round as he did in the first. That was due to his conditioning. He was the most well-conditioned boxer ever, Rocky Marciano. We went over a show one time of what he did in training, right? Just incredible. And he relied on his enormous strength and a right hand, which was as good a punch as boxing has ever seen before or since. And his right hand was named Suzy Q. Okay? Suzy Q was the mud. Excuse my language. Okay, yeah, but Suzy Q, his right hand. Rocky was a fanatic when it came to training. You know how Tom Brady, Michael Jordan type training, Floyd. Rocky was in that category. Just a fanatic about training. Put Rocky in that category with them. Rocky's boundless reserves of stamina explains his overpoweringly performing style and his remarkable recuperative powers, right? And it meant he was seldom in trouble. Didn't have to worry about his gas tank ever running down. Never. That never happened. Now his trainer, the highly respected Charlie Goldman, originally just laughed at the challenge, praising him when he first saw Rocky. Said he had a balding guy with 2 left feet. And Charlie Goldman actually laughed when Rocky came first asking to be his trainer, like, what, you? But after this is what Charlie Goldman said when he first met Rocky. He said, I got a guy who is short, stoop-shouldered, and balding with 2 left feet. He said all of his opponents look better than he does as far as moves are concerned. He said, but those opponents don't look so good laying on the mat. Now, Rocky would have fought another year or 2, but importantly, the illiterate but extremely proud Marciano discovered his manager was effectively robbing him. His manager was named Al Wheel, affiliated with the Mafia, right? Al Wheel had tricked Rocky into signing a contract that gave Wheel 50% of Rocky's purses. And that was 50% before expenses. Because, you know, he took 50%. Then Rocky had to pay his trainer, his sparring partners, and all that. This man took 50% before he even did any of that, right? Mm-hmm. That was good and crazy. So after his career, Rocky said, after his last fight, Rocky said, I ain't making Al Wheel rich anymore, not 1 penny. Rocky was considering his permanent retirement when Wheel, who had control over Rocky's appearances, denied the Rock the right to appear at a Knights of Columbus fundraiser because they were not paying him a fee, right? And the devoutly Catholic Rocky immediately retired and never fought again. But once he retired, he out of that contract, he could go to that fundraiser and had to give Wheel nothing, okay? Let's talk about Smoking Joe Frazier now. Yeah, I told you we had 4 other swarmers. JCC, Smoking Joe Rocky, and Aaron Pryor. Let's talk about Smoking Joe. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? coming up at 4 p.m. today with that balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Everybody gets their Just Do boxing. Everybody. Coming up at 4 p.m. Salute Just Do. Yeah, we're talking about some swarmers, Just Do, because today's show is called Going to the Body. And what did all swarmers have in common? Good body puncher and good chin. You know, swarmer, pressure fighter, brawler, you know, whatever name we want to use. They all it was a good body puncher and they had good chins. All of them. Had to really to fight their style. Because they constantly wanted to be on the inside battling it out. And, you know, had to go to that body, bring those hands down, then go upstairs. And you had to have a good chin because you were constantly taking punishment. If you're always fighting on the inside, right? So, yeah, all body punchers, all swarmers were good body punchers and they had great chin, okay? Smoking Joe Frazier, same thing. Good body puncher, great chin. Smoking Joe. They had a short career. Now, Joe Frazier was, on the other hand, an Olympic gold medal winner, world champion, who started as the son of sharecroppers, right? The guy who never got a break, worked in a slaughterhouse to pay his bills, and feared no man on earth, right? No man on earth, Smoking Joe. And he wanted to be inside all the time. Excellent footwork. The most underrated footwork of all time, Smoking Joe Frazier. Okay. Most underrated footwork of all time. Okay. Now, Angelo Dundee said about Joe Frazier. This is what Angelo Dundee said. He said, Muhammad Ali likes to fight in a room. Mike Tyson likes to fight in a closet. Joe Frazier likes to fight in a phone booth. And Joe firmly believed his own saying. But Sam Langford was the first one to say this, though. Kill the body and the head will die. Sam Langford said that way back in the 20s, early 1900s, before Joe Frazier was even born. Joe Frazier was a merciless body puncher with a vicious left hook, among boxing's all-time best. When you talk about fighters and signature punches, the first one come to mind got to be Joe Frazier's left hook, along with Rocky Marciano's right hand. But Joe, you're talking about signature punches. Larry Holmes' jab, but Joe Frazier's left hook got to be one of the first ones come to mind. And Smoking Joe was a classic swarmer, a short, compact heavyweight who was a terrific two-handed body puncher, who possessed endless desire and stamina, and actually got stronger as the fight progressed. That's from the conditioning, just like Rocky. He got stronger as the fight went on, right? Frazier was the ultimate catch and kill fighter because he had mastered cutting off the ring and forcing the opponents into wars. Just ask Ali. As good a dancer and mover and footwork Ali was, he could not get away from Joe Frazier. Watch those three fights. Every second of every round, of every minute of every round of those three fights, Joe Frazier was in Ali's face. Couldn't shake it. Joe Frazier had a way of cutting the ring off and forcing fighters into wars. Any young fighter want to know how to cut the ring off? Watch the 3 Ali Frazier fights and watch Joe Frazier. You got to have that good footwork, though. And Joe used small steps. And Ali taking all those big steps, dancing and moving, couldn't shake Joe Frazier, though. Watch those 3 fights. Every second of every minute of every round, Joe Frazier was right in his face. Couldn't get rid of him. Joey Croy said about Joe Frazier, he said, Joe Frazier attaches himself to your side and beats you to death. That's what all swarmers do. You think they glued to you, right? That's why Mike Tyson was not a swarmer, because Mike didn't fight inside like that. Mike was like mid-range, right? Mike was not a swarmer, okay? Now, Joe's signature punch was that left hook, right? Which he threw with equal force to the body or the head. Now, one Ring Magazine made him Fighter of the Year in 67, 79, 70 and 71. That's the big one, Ring Magazine, because they was doing it before most of these other sites that do Fighter of the Year even came around. Ring Magazine started Fighter of the Year in 1928. fighter of the year in 28, fight of the year in 1921, before he Box Rec and Boxing Writers Association of America and all, before they even came around. And I forgot who the first boxer number one on Box Rec is, but I forgot. Yeah. Number one on Box Rec. But anyway, yeah, Ring Magazine is the big one. We're talking about Fighter of the Year, Fighter of the Year. And Joe Frazier won it in 1967, 1970, and 1971. 3 times. Not many have accomplished that. Muhammad Ali won it the most with 6, but Joe Frazier had 3. Now, George Foreman, one of only 2 men to ever beat Joe Frazier. The other one was Muhammad Ali. And Frazier fought in the golden age of heavyweight. Only 2 of them could beat him, Ali and Foreman. His 4 losses was 2 to Foreman, 2 to Ali. And Foreman said about Frazier, he said, I admired Joe Frazier as a man because you never saw 2 Joe Fraziers. You only saw 1. He was the same with everybody. As a professional, Joe Frazier was the toughest fighter of my era. He was a buzzsaw and buzzed through everyone, including Ali. Now, he beat Ali once. And if he could have finished that 15th round in the 3rd fight, he had a chance of beating him again. Because Ali had admitted he wasn't coming back out for the 15th round either. Joe Frazier just threw his towel in first. So Frazier came close to getting 2 of the 3 fights. That would have changed history. You know, Joe Frazier would have won through 2 of those 3 in those series. We would look at it totally different. And he came very close. A towel's throw. That's how close he came. If he would have waited, Ali said his towel was coming in too. He told Angelo Dundee to cut his gloves off. Angelo wouldn't do it. He said, look at Frazier, he's not coming out. But Ali said, I'm not coming out either. I heard him say that on some late night talk show back in the day. Anyway, but Frazier's hard life gave him the heart of a lion. Joe was literally lifted off his feet by George Foreman and was knocked down 6 times. And 6 times he got up. Foreman said after the fight, I thought he was going to kill me. I couldn't stop him. Foreman said, what do I have to do to keep this guy down? The referee, believing Frazier was hit too much, stopped it. But Joe was able to get up every time before the count of 8 and resume fighting. He never stopped. He never quit. He feared nothing to the end of his days. The referee may as well have stopped him because Foreman could have knocked him down 100 times. Joe Frazier would have got up 100 times. So the referee said, let me stop this before this man get hurt. Because, you know, with Frazier's style, Foreman was just landing them big haymakers on him because, like I said, Frazier's going to be right there in front of you. And, you know, he just couldn't keep taking that punishment from George Foreman because George Foreman hit hard, man. And Frazier only knew one way to fight, come forward in the phone booth. Like Jerry Coy said, he glued himself to your side and beat the hell out of you. And you cannot sustain that against big George Foreman, so the referee did the right thing stopping that. But like I said, Frazier could have knocked him down 100 times. Joe Frazier was going to get back up. So yeah, good thing the referee stopped it. Now, what did Mike Tyson say about a Joe Frazier fight? Mike Tyson said, no man would ever want to go to war with that guy. Okay, so let's talk about Aaron Pryor right quick. Okay, because I passed him because when we talked, we talked about Henry Armstrong. That's just like Aaron Pryor. We talked about him not too long ago. Now, which of these 4 modern era swarmers was the best? Because we said Henry Armstrong was the best from the old days. Excuse me. Which of these 4 were the best in the modern era? Pryor, Chavez, Frazier, or Rocky Marciano? Now, Pryor had probably the most pure talent of the 4 and best knockout percentage, tied with Rocky. But it really is take your pick. It's hard. Now, Pryor by a nose over Chavez in the lighter weights, and Frazier by a nose over Rocky, even though The Rock was undefeated. But Joe fought during the era with the greatest heavyweight competition of all time and made himself a legend. Because if Rocky fought in the era Joe Frazier fought in, he definitely would not be undefeated, okay? Let's get that straight. If Rocky fought in the 70s where Joe Frazier fought, he wouldn't have been undisputed. If Joe Frazier fought in Rocky's era, he might have been undefeated. I meant undefeated. Did I say undisputed? Rocky wouldn't have been undefeated in the golden age of the 70s. Joe Frazier might have been undefeated in the 50s. Okay? Because him and Rocky basically fought the same fight. Great chin, good body puncher, swarmer, never got tired. So all those guys Rocky beat, Joe Frazier was capable of beating them too. Basically same style, same everything. But overall, of all five, Henry Armstrong, Aaron Pryor, Rocky, Julio Cesar Chavez, Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier is the best, probably because it's Muhammad Ali said, I ain't never met no man with more heart than Joe Frazier, okay? Henry Armstrong ruled the old days. Joe Frazier is the greatest modern infighter. So all of the above four deserve a hearty shout out. All of them, all four of them. Let me see what I got now. I had some good stuff. Let's see. That was the, what was that? It was the greatest infighter. 15 of the most epic body shot knockouts in history. Let's talk about that. Because I got some more about, yeah, that's what Dog Kemp was asking me about. I got some body, the B-Hop and Oscar body shot knockout. Let's talk about some body shot knockouts. I got some different, we talked about it before. I got a few new ones. A couple of the old ones we talked about, but I got a few new body shot knockouts. Let's do that before we go. Yeah, when Dog Kent asked me about B-Hop and Oscar, I said, I got something on here about them. Yeah, I got that knockout up there. Let's talk about the body shot knockout. Okay? That's what we're going to do now. Let's talk about the body shot knockouts that I got for y'all. Okay? And then it'll be time to get on up out of here. Joe Frazier. Yeah, that was a good one there. Yeah, Ryan made a business decision in that one. I think he made the right one too, because it would have ended badly for him if he would have got up from off that knee. Yeah, that would have ended badly for King Ryan. So he made a business decision. He said, I'm gonna stay down here. Because that's Tank Davis over there looking at me and my side hurt. I think he made the right decision. That would have ended badly. He likely would have went to sleep, you know. He likely would have went to sleep. Okay, let me get this going for you. We got like 25 minutes and this is going to take us to the bridge. Okay? Yeah, we're going to talk about some body shot knockouts. Got some good ones too. Along with pictures. It is right there. I don't have the Tank Ryan one. That was just the picture. That's the thumbnail, right? Isn't it the thumbnail? I think. I forgot. Wasn't it the thumbnail? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about some of these body shot knockouts. Now, but as everybody is hump day, we got Just Do Boxing coming up in about 20 minutes. These are 15 of the most epic body shot knockouts in boxing history. Now, in the world of boxing, beginners are often overly focused on landing hard shots on their opponents' heads as they look to endear themselves to fans entertaining knockouts. But the seasoned boxers know attacking the body can be just as effective as attacking the head and stopping fights. Punches to the sternum can take the wind out of an opponent, and strikes to the sides of the torso can cause rib injuries. However, the most devastating punch you can throw at an opponent's body, head or body, is the liver shot. Land one of these, and your opponent will be momentarily paralyzed as they writhe on the ground in pain, and the fight is probably over. Arturo Gatti got up from a liver shot though, so it don't have to be over. But let's take a look at them. 15 of the most epic, devastating liver shots in boxing history. Okay, that's Virgil Hill after taking a liver shot. He ended up with a broken rib. Roy Jones Jr. versus Virgil Hill. Now, Roy Jones earned Knockout of the Year honors with his brutal body shot finish of Virgil Hill in 1998. Jones vacated the WBC's light heavyweight title about a year before this showdown with Hill, as he set his sights on the heavyweight division. But Jones eventually changed his mind and signed to fight Hill, who was a former unified light heavyweight champion. And he fought for the title he had vacated, Roy did. Now, Jones took control of the fight from the opening moments, and he landed one of the most brutal body punches in boxing history, crashing a right hook in the Hill's left side. The sound of the punch landing on Hill's body sounded like a cannon as Hill fell to the ground and screamed in pain. To his credit, Hill tried to will himself back to his feet, but the pain was too much, and it turned out the punch broke a rib. Okay? Yeah, anybody ever seen that? Did sound like a cannon when that punch landed, too. If you haven't watched that fight, watch that, man. It was like kapow. And Roy broke the man's rib with that shot. Boxing is a tough sport, man. Next. Boxing is a tough sport. Next. Mickey Ward versus Alfonso Sanchez. Mickey Ward versus Alfonso Sanchez. Okay. Mickey Ward scored one of the most impressive finishes of his boxing career when he squared off against Sanchez in 1997. Ward was a heavy underdog heading into the fight against Sanchez, who was undefeated at the time and known for his heavy hands. At the time of the fight, Sanchez had knocked out 15 of his last 16 opponents, right? Now, the consensus heading into the fight was that Sanchez would knock Ward out, but Ward had plans of his own. Now, Ward didn't come out swinging like a madman, like he was known to do. Instead, he fought smartly, but he was still losing rounds to Sanchez. Sanchez looked like he solidified his victory when he sent Ward to the canvas in the second round, but the hitman wasn't done fighting yet. Ward weathered the storm and went on to land his signature combination in the seventh round. Remember we was talking about rocking Ward with a hook to the head before firing off two vicious hooks to the liver. Remember when we was talking about the great body, legendary body punches at the beginning of the show? We talked about Ward and that left hook, and that's when he got Sanchez with a hook to the liver, ended the fight. Okay, here we go, Doc Kent probably gone, but he was asking me about this, but I knew I had it somewhere. Bernard Hopkins versus Oscar De La Hoya. There's Oscar on the mat and B-Hop walking away. He ready to spit his mouthpiece out because it's over. O-V-A, over. It's O-V-A, over. Right, not over, over. Okay. Bernard Hopkins is mostly known as a defensive boxer, but he was one of the most brutal finishers in the sport during his younger years. He landed one of the most impressive finishes of his career during his highly hyped 2004 fight against De La Hoya. And this fight wasn't even supposed to happen because Philly Sturm had beat Oscar, but they robbed Philly Sturm because follow the money. Where's the money? Philly Sturm or B-Hop, or Oscar and B-Hop for undisputed. So they robbed Sturm and gave Oscar, but this fight wasn't even supposed to happen. But anyway, the fight couldn't have been any more entertaining with De La Hoya standing in the pocket and trading hard shots with B-Hop. However, B-Hop landed a devastating liver shot in the 9th round, sending De La Hoya to the ground in pain. That was the end of it. Some of the most epic body shot endings in history. Arturo Gatti versus Leonard Doran. See Gatti over in the background celebrating. That's it. And take your mouthpiece out. Go get some water. Put your t-shirt on, Arturo. You're done for the evening. The 2004 title showdown between these two didn't turn out to be an all-out brawl like many fans had anticipated, like most of Gatti's fights were. But it still led to a brutal body shot finish. Gatti only needed 2 rounds to land a devastating liver shot that left Doran unable to fight. It was the first loss of Doran's career and the last time he ever stepped inside the ring. Gaddy went on to win 2 of his next 6 fights before hanging up his gloves. He had Doran ever so bad, he retired after that one. Yeah, that liver shot is... Ricky Hatton again. Ricky Hatton versus Jose Luis Castillo. Hatton versus Castillo. Excuse me. Now, Hatton's performance against Castillo is an excellent example of how he earned the nickname the Hitman. No, he took it from his idol, Thomas Hearns. That's right. He was a hitman long before this. But yeah. Hatton was the pound-for-pound king of the 140-pound division, heading into his fight against Castillo. And his ability to attack the body was on full display. Castillo came out aggressively during the title showdown, but Hatton handled the pressure well. He eventually landed the brutal left hook. A brutal left hook to the liver, his signature punch, that took a few seconds to bring Castillo to his knees in the 4th round, leaving him unable to continue fighting. With the win, Hatton won the WBC International Super Lightweight title, setting the stage for a future fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yeah, those liver shots usually take a second or two to set in. Canelo Alvarez versus Liam Smith. Yeah, that was a potent one too. There's Canelo landing that liver shot. Canelo Alvarez versus Liam Smith. Canelo was already one of the biggest superstars in boxing by the time he faced off against Liam Smith in 2016. At that point, the only blemish on his record was a loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr., which is nothing to be ashamed of. Now, Liam Smith was a decorated challenger, but Canelo was too much for him, outboxing him from the opening bell. Canelo sent Smith to the canvas with an overhand right during the 7th round, and he sealed the deal with a liver punch in the 9th, sending Smith to the canvas in pain. To his credit, Smith tried to will himself back to his feet, but his body wasn't cooperating. Smith wanted to get up, but that liver said, hell no. He might hit you there again. No. The liver said no. Okay, let's run through him. Finish him up. Jerry Cooney versus Ron Law. Okay. There's Law on the mat. Cooney finished him off with a liver punch. Okay. Triple G and Matthew Macklin. See, the liver punch usually send you, see, it take a couple seconds to register. You don't usually fall, you usually go to your knees first, right? When it seems like it always happens, try to take a knee, because it's not like knockout, like send you to the canvas, but you can't go on when you take a knee, right? Seems like that always happens most of the time on that liver punch. You see, I got to take me a knee. Marco Antonio Barrera versus Jesse Benavidez. See, there's Jesse on the knees. Yep. Okay, Vasil Lomachenko, Jose Linares. Now Linares just went all the way, but he faced down. He was on the knee first. I remember that. Then he went all the way down, but he first took a knee. Linares did when Loma first landed that shot. Then he went all the way down to his stomach. Gerald McClellan versus James Williamson. I couldn't get them together, but that's McClellan. Trust me, he got Williamson up out of there with the liver punch. Okay. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. Ryan got Luke. See, there's Luke on his knee. I told you they always take a knee first. Just can't continue. King Ryan had went down himself in the first round, remember? Terrence Crawford versus Julius Ndongo. Julius is on his back. A couple more. Amir Khan versus Marcos Madonna. Put Madonna away. Madonna's on the way down. And the final one, Amir did it to Madonna after he Madonna did it to Victor Cayo. You had it right? Yeah. It is Madonna standing on Macayo. Well, what is that? Oh, that's me. This Madonna. Okay. So we finished going through all the divisions now. So tomorrow, for the highlights of boxing history, first 30 minutes of every show, we're going to do a classic fight each day. Starting tomorrow is going to be, I know I promised later Ali and the coal miner's daughter, Kristen Martin. We have to do that later. I can't find too much on them right now. Tomorrow we're going to do Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling 1. Friday going to be Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling 2. To start the show every day, we're going to talk about a classic fight every day. Start the show. Starting with Joe Louis, Max Schmeling 1 tomorrow. Joe Louis, Max Schmeling 2 Friday. Let's review the pound for pound list before we get out of here again. Okay. Cash Sports current top 10 pound for pound list as of July 20. What's the date of today? 8th, 29th, 2025. Okay. We're going to go from number 1 to 10 this time, since we started at 10 and went backwards. Number 1 is Terrence Bud Crawford. This is pound for pound list. Number 2, Alexander Usyk. We did a little discussion about each one of them when we started. Number 3, The Monster, Naoya Inoue, D.A. Monster, The Monster. Number 4, Dimitri Bivol. It didn't change. What's going on? Number 4, Dimitri Bivol. What is that? Number 4, Dimitri Bivol. Damn it. There he is. Dimitri Bivol, number 4. I don't know why it wouldn't change. Okay, but it did. Number 5, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Number 6, Artur Beterbiev. Number 7, Slick Shakur Stevenson. Slick Shakur Stevenson. Shakur don't have a nickname, so I gave him one. Slick Shakur Stevenson. Coming in at number 8, the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. David Benavidez. It's him and David Morrell. Great fight they had. Didn't disappoint. Mike Rim says, okay. I mean, boys to men on bended knee. Yeah. Yeah, Mike. Boys to men on bended knee. Right. When you take that liver shot, that is the one, Mike. Yeah. When you take that liver shot. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? Number 8 was David Benavidez. Okay. Number 9, Gervonta Tank Davis. I heard he retiring this morning. But he ain't retired yet, so he's number 9. And number 10, Junto Nakatani. I want to see him in Monster so bad, man, you know. Junto Nakatani number comes in at number 10. The Cash Sports pound for pound list. Don't forget tomorrow to start. You got to be here early now because we're going to be talking about Joe Louis, Max Schmeling 1 tomorrow. Joe Louis, Max Schmeling 2 Friday to start the show. Then tomorrow's show going to be Australia. It's Thursday. We're going through all the countries like we did the boxing in the States. Australia tomorrow, alphabetical order. Home of George Kambosos and the B3 put it in there. I can't remember the name. Let me see. Maloney. Yeah, thank you, B3. Andrew and Jason Maloney. They twins, right? I think they twins. But we're going to be covering them and some other Australian boxers tomorrow. A little history of boxing in Australia. Some other significant events, like some big fights, big venues there. We might talk about Devin and Kambosos, 1 and 2 or something. That was a huge fight when that happened over there. Was for Undisputed. But Australia tomorrow, Friday, the profile is the first Friday of the month. So it's going to be an active boxer The Real Deal, Amanda Holyfield Friday. That's who we covering this week. Amanda Holyfield, The Real Deal. Yep. Will be our profile for this week. Okay? So don't miss that. We got some good stuff coming up, okay? So tomorrow, we're going to start out with Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling 1. And then we're going to talk about Australia, okay? All that tomorrow on Cast Sports The Box Story. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's The Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is straight in here. This is Cast Sports. Everybody have a great afternoon. Appreciate y'all 1,000%. Just Do Boxing, Tim Layton, B3, Doc Kent, Darrell Hattie, Kensaw Love One, Bruce Gass, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, Crush the Legend, Miss Cass. Appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Just Do Boxing up next. This is Cast Sports. Everybody have a great afternoon.